everyone. So we are the Group 3 and we are going to present our narrative report all about the crop protection practices of rice farmers.
So good afternoon everyone, my name is Julian Gary. So I'm here in front of you to discuss our introduction. So rice is one of the most important staple crops in the Philippines and across Asia, serving as a primary source of food and livelihood for millions of farmers. The country's agricultural economy heavily depends on rice production, making the sustainability and productivity of rice crop vital to ensuring food security and rural development. However, rice farmers continually face challenges that threaten yield and income, including pest infestations, crop diseases, and environmental stresses caused by climate change. These issues emphasize the need for effective and sustainable crop protection practices. Crop protection refers to the methods of strategies employed to safeguard crops from pests, diseases, and other harmful agents that may reduce yield quality or quantity. Over the years, Filipino rice farmers have adopted various techniques combining traditional and modern approaches to address this problem. Common practices include field sanitation, proper water management, the use of pest-resistant rice varieties, and the adoption of integrated management or IPM principles. IPM in particular promotes the balanced use of biological, cultural, and chemical control methods to minimize environmental impact while maintaining crop productivity.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crisaline Hagana. So, as part of the creation of Miss Tulay, understanding the crop protection practices of rice farmers is crucial for developing sustainable agricultural programs and improving pest management strategies. So, by documenting and analyzing the method employed by farmers, policymakers, and agricultural institutions can identify effective techniques and promote eco-friendly alternatives and enhance farmers' education on safe pesticide use. And furthermore, assessing current practices can contribute to policy formulations aimed at reducing production losses and ensuring long-term food security for 2021. Thus, this interview focuses on exploring and describing the crop protection and practices of rice farmers to support the goal of sustainable rice production in the Philippines.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mario Martinez here. So, I will continue the discussion about our narrative report. So, based on the consolidated data, we found out that the demographic profile of the respondents reveals that the rice farmers in this interview area is practiced mostly by middle-aged farmers. So, with the age ranging from 30 to 65 years old, a majority of these respondents are male, while the smaller portions are female. The educational backgrounds vary mostly elementary or high school graduates, indicating that while formal education levels are modest, and also the farmers possesses extensive practical farming experiences ranging from 10 to 25 years. Most respondents cultivate small to medium-sized farms between 0.5 to 3 hectares, where the land's ownership types includes rented, communal, tenant, and owned by lands. So this aligns with the typical profile of small rice farmers in the Philippines, whereas rice cultivation is predominantly managed by the family labor, and guided by traditional knowledge based on Lacorte and Polipano 2025. So in terms of crop diversifications, some respondents have also cultivated banana, corn, and pineapple, while others focus solely on rice farmings. So the farmers are primarily located in Macpayang, Upper Patag, and Ombong Alegria, Surigao del Norte, where canal and river serve as their main source of irrigation. So the majority practices one of the 2 cropping cycles per year, depending on the water availability. So these findings reflects the typical structures of lowland irrigated rice farmers in Mindanao, where farmers depend on rainfall patterns and small-scale canal irrigation to sustain the productions. So regular pest and disease management. So farmers here in the interview has shown that they reported encountered a wide range of pest-specific species such as rice bugs, stem borers, plant hoppers, leaf folders, golden apple snails, rodents, and birds, as well as the weeds like water lettuce and water hyacinth. So common disease mentioned include blast diseases and Philippines. Most respondents were personal experience and most respondents identified that the pest infestation through visual observations of plant symptoms such as yellowing or drying of the leaves, along with personal experiences. So, and advice with the fellow farmers. So, some of these consultants with agricultural technicians from the Department of Agriculture. So, pests typically appear during the seedling, tailoring flower and honey stage, so which corresponds to the findings of Lessinger et al. In 2011. So, who reported that the majority of rice pests in the Philippines are most active during the vegetative and reproductive stages. So, moreover, a study of Cambridge University Press of the 2021 statement that the pest infestation caused an average of 18.3% yield loss in the Philippine rice farmers. So, which validates that the farmers' account of significant productivity decline during pest outbreaks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Larry Amber. I will continue to present results and discussion. The interviewers also found that chemical control remains the dominant pest management strategy among respondents. Farmers commonly apply insecticides, herbicide, and fungicides, and also using manual backpack sprayers in every 2 to 3 weeks. This heavy reliance on chemical control bears finding by Swan in 2019, who reported that 75% of farmers in Northern Samar primarily use chemical methods, while only a small fraction adopt biological control. Although some respondents noted the presence of natural predators such as spiders, frogs, dragonflies, and parasitoid bats, the actual use of biological control practices was limited. Meanwhile, cultural practices like manual weeding and crop rotation were practiced by some supplementary measures. While chemical control remains effective in short terms, excessive and improper use can lead pesticide resistance, increased production costs, and negative environmental impact by Baryon in 2002. On the other hand, research by Ripusas in 2009 showed the farmers adopt integrated pest management or IPM technologies reduce insecticides by 60% and fungicide use by 67% and total management cost by 26% without compromising yield. Similarly, Punzal in 2017 demonstrated that ecological engineering such as planting flowers and vegetables on rice bands, improved natural pest regulation, and diversifying farmers' income resources. This study suggests that introducing ecological approaches and IPM training can enhance sustainability and profitability among smallholders and rice farmers.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Darami D. Kumalan, and the continuation of the results and discussion. The challenges faced by respondents include pest resistance, high pesticide costs, over-application of pesticides, and limited access to updated pest management information. So as a result, many farmers are compelled to delay harvest, adjust planting schedules, or change rice varieties to avoid pest outbreaks. These adaptive strategies align with cultural control techniques recommended by the Philippine Rice Research Institute or PhilRice 2023, which emphasize synchronized planting and pest-resistant varieties as preventive measures. Furthermore, farmers identified seminars, orientations, and government-led agricultural training as their main sources of information. However, they expressed a strong need for more hands-on demonstrations and field-based training, highlighting gaps in extension service coverage. Similar findings were reported by Barrion 2002, who noted that continuous education through farmer field schools, or FFS, enhances farmers' ecological understanding and reduces dependence on chemical pesticides. Overall, the findings indicate that while farmers possess substantial local knowledge and practical experience, their pest management practices remain chemically dependent and reactive rather than preventive and integrative. Strengthening extension programs and promoting IPM approaches could address these limitations, providing access to training on biological and cultural control, along with affordable biopesticides and resistant rice varieties, could reduce costs and improve long-term farm productivity. So, as supported by Punza et al. 2017 and Raposas et al. 2009. So, integrating approaches not only mitigate pest management and pest damage, but also ensure environmental safety and economic efficiency.
So good afternoon, everyone. By the way, my name is Hina Marie Cagasan Cagalan, and I will present to you our conclusion on our narrative report. So based on the interview findings, it can be concluded that most of rice farmers in Surigao del Norte depend heavily on chemical pesticides as their main method of pest control due to their effectiveness and ease of use, but this reliance has led to issues such as pest resistance, high input costs, and health risks. Farmers typically identify pests through visual observation and experience, yet few apply biological or cultural control methods. Pest problems often cause delays in planting and harvesting, reduce yield and income, and force changes in farming schedules. Although some farmers receive support through seminars and orientation, many still lack updated knowledge and technical guidance on sustainable pest management. Therefore, enhancing access to training, demonstrations, and government support programs is crucial to help farmers adopt more eco-friendly and cost-effective crop protection practices that improve productivity and sustainability. That's all. Thank you.